That's all I got to say. Jacob, did you want to go first this week since I so commonly always forget you? Do you want to jump in and lead us off since you took a week off? Just come right out. Give us the hot take. Who is your dark horse for week 10? Believe it or not, week 10 of the fantasy football season.
Believe that we are this far. But yeah, my dark horse this week is a guy that I've talked about plenty of times before, and that is Khalil Herbert of the Chicago Bears. Now, I know, look, a lot of people are into this player as much as I am in general, but the way that fantasy works is a lot of casual fans, they just look at the fantasy points, right? So they see, 15, and then 2 points. What happened? All right, I'm benching him next week. And I think that's a mistake. He didn't play the toughest run defense, but Justin Fields was the lead running back last week for the Chicago Bears. As most of people can see, there was no room for David Montgomery or Khalil Herbert to get any run. And I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to slow down he's not going to go for 178 yards again, but I'm not saying he's going to stop rushing. I just think it's going to balance itself out a little bit more. He's going to rush a little bit less. The running backs are going to rush a little bit more. You don't want to, I'm not saying they're competing for a playoff, a deep playoff run or anything, but you don't want to burn your young stud QB out. At least he's looking like a stud. So you want to utilize these running backs, and they're playing Detroit, who is a top 10 friendliest defense to the running game. And for about a year now, I've been on the Khalil Herbert is more talented than David Montgomery train. And I think that's starting to come to fruition, and a lot of more people are starting to see it. I also think, look, running back years are like dog years, right? Like they add up a lot quicker. And
I like that Herbert, analogy there. That's a good analogy.
Even though he's only a couple years younger than Montgomery and only has one less year or 2 less years in the NFL, that's a lot of time and for running back years. So I think he's just fresher overall. They were kind of like splitting carries, and we saw, even though Montgomery was getting more work, Khalil Herbert was outproducing him. So I think that's going to continue. I think this could be the week where we see Khalil Herbert really take over the backfield. So yeah, that's my dark horse for week 10. I can't believe we're in week 10. It feels like it just started.
Feels like it just started. And man, I couldn't agree with you much more. I'm looking at his average yards per carry over the last couple of weeks. Last week against Miami, it wasn't too great, but before that, 6.1 a carry, 5.1 a carry, 10 yards per carry. That was his 7 carry performance for 70 yards. Looking over at David Montgomery's, 2.5, 3.5, 4.0. Not terrible, right? Not terrible, but there's clearly a running back there who still has a little bit more juice in the tank. And you're alluding to the fact that is Khalil Herbert. He looks to get something done this week. Bounce back game potentially against a really soft Detroit Lions rushing defense, who I thought last week, A.J. Dillon, which was my dark horse, who we were just talking about earlier, was going to find pay dirt essentially, and he did not. Hopefully, it fares much better for you, my friend. That is Jacob Bartley's dark horse of the week, Khalil Herbert, running back for the Chicago Bears.